Modern Tango. Modern Tango. Modern Tango.
This new FL Studio update is going to be insane for new producers, for seasoned producers, for anyone, with 3 brilliant new features that I think could kill Splice, could kill Ozone or any other mastering software. Let's just get straight into it. So I've got my hands on the FL Studio 21.2 beta, and I've been playing around with the new features that they've been hinting at, and my god are they insane. The first thing I'm going to be talking about is a new stem splitter tool, which I think could be incredible for remixes. And to demonstrate how it works, I'm going to be using this project that I'm going to be using for all of my demonstrations throughout this video. So all you need to do is click the little icon up here and then go to extract stems from sample. Click on that, it'll then prompt you what stems you want to show up. It doesn't show up on the screen, but it says drums, instruments, bass or vocals, and you can just click extract. I want to extract everything even though there's not vocals in here, but there are drums, instruments and bass. So I'm going to give it a second and I'm going to jump straight back. Okay, so as you can see we now have these stems in, and the vocals is only really picking up my tag, but if we listen to the original, if I just bump up the tempo real quick, if we just listen to the original and we can compare them. So you can see here it splits up the drums, the instruments and also the bass. The bass really just picks up the 808 as well as any synth bass that you would have had in there. So if we just go ahead and listen to this. That is crazy how accurate it is. If I now pair this with the drums, we should now just be able to get all of the drum samples without the melody. That is scary how accurate that is. And then we can just solo the instruments. What I do find with the instruments is it does pick up a little bit of the artifacts, especially if you did have vocals in there, it will still leak over. But if you just listen to the instrumental. You might be able to hear, like, you can hear the bottom of the snare hitting through in some of the hi-hats. But if you listen again to this little area here, and then compare it to all of them together. So if you're making remakes of older songs or newer songs, or you want to use vocals or implement a sound in a certain song, you can now use this tool. Before you would have to use online services, premium plugins, all of that stuff. It is now built into FL Studio 21.2, which I think is absurd. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about, I'm not really too familiar with this new FL Cloud feature, which is, from what I can gather, Splice, and it will have a subscription, I believe, or you can get some free downloads, but limited, whether that's monthly, weekly, daily, whatever it is. But it is just like having Splice built into your browser. You have samples, drums, soundscapes, I believe, instruments, all sorts of that, like one-shots, which is crazy. This could honestly kill Splice for FL users. For example, I've now just gone up to the top and I've searched for piano samples, and it's come up with a whole list of them that you can now just click through. And I believe you can just click this button and it'll add to your selection. You might have to buy it, whether you give credits or whatever. You can just flick through, get inspiration, or you could just drag it straight into your project. Like, that is just insane that you have a whole library built in. If I go in now and type in guitar and then filter by a different genre, so for example we want, let's say, live music guitar, see if there's any of those. You have banjos, you have West Country, let's give this. And then you can go flick between all the different genres. We now have a hip hop or R&B sample. This is honestly mind-blowing. This is built into the software. Now the feature that I think will help producers the most is the new AI or algorithmic mastering tool. In front of me I have the same beat but with different effects on the mastering channel. The top one we have no effects, just a soft clipper. The middle one we have an expensive premium plugin called Ozone, which I use for most of my mastering. And then at the bottom we have the one that you can do built into FL Studio, which is done with AI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a quick comparison. We're just going to play maybe 8 bars and then hear them all through. So we're going to start off with the one that has no plugins. You can hear that it's not quite loud enough, and that's what Ozone really does. It adds a compressor or a limiter or something to bring the volume up, and you can input the certain amount of lufs that you want, but I've not heard anything as close to Ozone, and I think FL might have just dropped the best one ever. So this is the one with Ozone. That's an example of what all of my mixes would have sounded like before this AI mastering tool, and since experimenting with the different genres that it suits well, I genuinely think I might just switch to the AI. This is what it sounds like. All I inputted was a reference track, and that was it.
I don't trust nobody, bitch, don't show me love. I won't run up and you know I keep a gun. Go to ground by my side, I'm not gonna run. I'll be climbing up the top like I'm the one.
Even with the vocals, it's mastered the vocals to sit perfectly in my headphones. The bass is shaped well, and even if you jump into the waveform a little bit more, you can see in the Ozone one, very little headroom is left, and in this one, you can see there's a tiny bit of headroom, not a whole lot, but it's still present. And all you have to do this is mix the track thoroughly so that everything is still leveled, then go to File, Export, and then click Master, and then it comes up with a bunch of prompts. All you really have to do is select what you're going to be submitting the track to. For example, if you're going on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, or YouTube, any of those, and that will set the specific amount of lufs that you should be using for that website or for that service. And then you can go through and click through a bunch of references, which are genres basically that it's going to listen to or compare it to, and then it's going to throw the effects or the mastering chain that it thinks you should be using for that track. Like I said, I think this update could massively change the game. I don't know any other plugin that implements these sort of services or these sort of effects straight into it. For the past couple of years, FL has been battling with Ableton for the top spot in my eyes anyway, and I think this update might have just given it a massive boost. If none of the other softwares can really keep up with this or implement their own ideas that battles this, man, I don't see FL getting beaten for a long time. Down in the description I shall leave all of the features that they're going to implement into the full update. These are just the ones that I think stand out the most, that really change the game. When the full release is dropped, I'll probably go through and do another video in a deep dive to really explain how all of these work. I just wanted to point out that if you don't use FL, or if you're thinking of getting a DAW but you don't know which one to get, I thoroughly recommend you get this one. But that's about it for me. Features wise, I've covered everything that I think needs to be covered, and I'm just going to go and put the crown right back on FL's head, because this is going to be an insane change. Once again, let me know down in the comments what you think you want to see next. Like and subscribe, and I'll try to get around to as many of the comments as I can. One of the last videos that I uploaded did ask for a video on arrangement, which will be my next one after this, so make sure you stay tuned for that, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.
More than Tango.